Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin here. I have the pleasure of having Mr. Jonathan on the podcast. How you doing, my brother?
Dude, I'm doing phenomenal. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. So we officially found the guy who has more jobs than me. We did. We don't know what he does. He's got like 7 different things. But thank you, Chris Grinzik, for introducing us. The moment we got on the phone, we were like, we're meant to be friends. So really enjoyed this, dude. It's nice to get in his schedule here. He's going to tell you a little bit about all he does. Well, why don't you start where you want to, man? I'll let you kind of kick it off and tell people about who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you having me on, man. I'm thinking about our first in-person in Louisville.
Yeah.
You got to say, you got to roll that L, Louisville, Kentucky, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, a little bit of a different kind of background, interest, flavor, whatever you want to call it, into real estate. Growing up, didn't have really any interest in real estate business, anything like that. Parents wanted me to be an accountant or a teacher. Nothing against either of those professions. Great professions. My brother's an accountant, but wasn't really for me. I was actually, in those days, I was really just kind of like a partier, just like go with the flow. It was a little wild. And something I noticed early on is when I kind of get into something, I just go all in with it. So for me in high school, it was golf. Super long story short, I don't even know. I could give a short version. The way I got into golf was my brother actually, when I was a freshman in high school, was like, I want to help you have a good time, like at a party or whatever. Kind of got me drunk. My mom, strict Jewish mother, Long Island, the whole thing, grounded me for 3.5 months. And all I could do in that time was go to school and come home. And I had a net in my basement. All I would do every day is just chip and putt into that net. I'd only played like 3 rounds of golf. Next time I went out that spring, I was already shooting in the 80s. So then my goal was play college golf. So that was kind of like my only driver in high school. No business, no nothing. I was like pipe dream. I want to be on the PGA Tour, the whole thing. You know, I realized that's, these guys are pretty good. But anyway, going through college, didn't really have anything like business or like real estate structure. But I've, again, always been like, had the attitude, what do I have to lose? Risking not doing anything is bigger risk than like, being told no. So when I was a senior in college, I just started cold calling CEOs, VPs, presidents of tech companies. I had a couple of mentors in tech, and they were like, this is how you can make money. At that time, I was kind of getting into personal development, thinking grow rich, how to win friends, looking to get into sales, all that, whatever. And found my mentor, who turned out to be the president of the company that I started with. Just cold called him, and he's like, I respect it, dude. You got balls. Cold calling somebody like this. I didn't really know at the time he was worth 450 mil, and he's the president, or he paid to have his name in the business school at Notre Dame. So if anybody's listening from Notre Dame, Tom Mendoza's School of Business. So he became someone that was instrumental to me and was just kind of, all right, you got to be more serious and figure out what you want to do. Long story short, then in the real estate, started doing that as a side hustle, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Bigger Pockets. I reached out to like the first 150 guests on Bigger Pockets. Let me pick your brain. Let me get virtual coffee. Didn't know anything about real estate, made all the mistakes. House hacked a couple of years in a row before buying this 4 unit that I'm actually in now. That was when I was 25. Then I had to move back to New York. And from there, then I've been kind of re-energized with real estate with coronavirus. I'm sure we could talk about that a little bit. But when coronavirus hit, world became virtual. I figured, why not go live in a couple cities or areas that I wanted to prospect in? So for me, that was Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. Spent some time out there doing multifamily. I've kind of done a bunch of stuff. I got a couple short-term rentals. My deal now is virtual assistants. I find that to be like the most fun thing ever, putting them in the workflow, documenting it, teaching people it. So that's kind of the spiel. A lot there, but wherever you want to take it.
So did you catch all that, guys? Like I said,
yeah.
Home Dude's got a lot efficient. Explain to me something. I was thinking about you the other day. Are you seriously releasing a podcast a day right now?
Dude, we might go 2 a day. We might go football. No. We're not going 2 a day.
Okay.
One a day.
So 1 a day for how long have you done that?
Pretty new. That's only like maybe 3 months old. you know?
And what was the thought process behind one a day?
So, like a lot of your listeners, love business books, love like time management books. So, kind of a collection of deep work, one thing, free to focus. I really got into the habit of time batching. And then a mentor of mine, Joe Fairless, I heard how he does his podcast. He records 7 episodes a day. He's the longest running daily podcast. I'm like, okay, let's try that. So it's actually not that hard. I mean, it like, sure. I mean, anything could be hard. I guess how you look at it.
So I have 6 today. So
yeah. So it ranges anywhere from, for me on a certain day of the week, I'll do 7 to 9 episodes and just crank, you know, and I don't know if I'll keep it one a day forever. Cause you know, I have different thoughts on it, but yeah, one a day. And it's not that hard when you batch it out.
No, it's not. And, but more importantly, is there something in the marketing or something you heard from somebody that has the psychology behind it, or you're just trying to add as much value as possible?
So if anyone out there, and I get it, I've had imposter syndrome on all these things. For me, the podcast did 3 things, and I got them up here because I just thought it was so important. Was one, what it does is thought leadership. This is a direct quote from Joe Fairless. People need to know who you are. They need to see your face, hear your voice. If you're going to input on stuff, sometimes you do an episode just you talking. So thought leadership. People recognize you as someone that kind of knows what you're talking about in the space. Second thing is networking. I don't think there is a better way on the planet to network than holding your own podcast. You have a golden ticket to reach out to anyone you want and put them into your network and have a relationship with them. So just a small example for this, we're at about 100 episodes. That's 100 people that I did not know 5 months ago that now I can call on the phone and say, hey, I'm stuck on this thing with a contractor. What would you do? Or I'm looking in this part of the country where you're at. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing, you get smarter, man. I love to read. I love to YouTube. I love to podcast. Dude, having a conversation like this, man, I can't be checked out. I actually listen to what you say. And dude, the best part about the podcast, selfish questions, man. I get to ask every question I'm stuck on that day. And I know it'll help someone else. So like lately, I've been asking a lot of questions on wholesaling and short-term rentals because that's 2 parts of the business that I'm building up. So I get to ask, what system are you using? What CRM? Wow. How do you talk to your sellers? How do you talk to your buyers? Dude, it's selfish, but it helps other people too. And it just, these people want to come on and talk about it. So
you can ask me any question you want about short-term rental. I just closed 2 $1.4 million projects we're doing, Colorado and Montana. You don't even want to know.
I got to get you on mine now.
You don't even want to know. You don't even want to. Oh, and I'm working on a 12-unit shipping container hotel. Don't worry about it. So we're cool. Shit. So yeah, and that net cash flow on those 2 properties, we'll talk about it offline. But yeah, so you know, it's interesting, right? I had my aha moment. I'm sure you've had the same one. Jake and Gino's crew was in Austin, and Lee Ford asked me to come out. I never met the guy before. He's like, sure. I was like, fuck, I'll come out. I got nothing going on. I walked into the meetup, and 6 dudes I've never met from across the country in different states would go, oh, you're the guy with Construct Your Life. And I was like, who that? I don't even know who you are. And then, dude, it truly is about, you know, expert secrets is what did it for me. You know, you have to put yourself up on a platform no matter where you are. How I was talking to Austin Hartley today, and he's got a podcast, and I said, isn't it cool to see how much of a loser you were on your first podcast? You're like, look at this guy. Who is that idiot? You know, but now, dude, I step into any podcast, any Zoom call, and there's such a freedom with sharing my story now because you've done this so many times. I don't even think about it anymore, right?
I mean, there's so many ripple down effects, man. It's just people feel like they know you. You get better with processes. Like it's just. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of benefits, but it's just a cool deal, man. I mean, I don't know if we would have fully connected without this sphere of media because that's 100%. I got closer with Chris from podcasting and then connected me with you.
But something I want to make, I would love to hear your talk on this. And I was just talking to Bruce Peterson about this yesterday. Because of COVID and because of podcasts the way they are now, I think the general public are so much more comfortable with entering in a business relationship with somebody via Zoom than they ever been before. Have you ever thought about that? That it's changed?
You know what just came to mind hearing you say that? I don't know if you heard of this guy. His name is Dan Locke, huge YouTuber. couple million followers, big business. And he said something which I thought was really interesting. It might have been before COVID, but he said in order for people to spend $1,000 on your product, they need to consume at least 1 to 3 hours of your content.
Holy shit.
And I just thought that was really interesting because his whole thing is get content out, good quality content, and it makes people feel like they know you. It kind of vets people out at the top of the funnel if you are selling something or you are collaborating with people, because it's like a track record, man. I mean, how many people do you get on the phone with and they feel like they know you?
Dude, I apologize. I get the I apologize. I had the opportunity to coach. I got a bunch of coaching clients the last 2 days.
Yep.
You know why? Because they've heard me for 3 months and they know my story and they feel like they really know me. So when you step on a phone call with them, they're it's almost like a referral, right? But nobody's given the referral. And so they know that I'm going to help them because I'm very open and authentic. And I think that shows in who you are. And I think that they get to know you, right? You're labeling the story. And so it's one of those things where I would, I almost look at the fact like, I wish I would have started so much sooner because I thought about it forever. And it was really a best conference ever where, you know what it was? Do you know what it did to me? There's all these investors everywhere, and you want to know who everybody talked to when people have podcasts. And that's when it was the aha moment for me, like, oh, it's a platform. And then more importantly, it gives your friends or your contacts a platform to share their story. You know what I'm saying? So it's an amazing tool that I don't think I would ever go away from ever again. I enjoy it. But all right, so I'm going to give you a little secret to what we're doing. God damn, I can't give away my secrets on things, but my rants, right? My 7-minute rants, we're transcribing them, and that's going to be my book.
Let's go. Love it.
So it's going to be my book. Like, and it's going to be 30 life lessons from Construct Your Life.
Dude, it's going to be 48 Laws of Linney.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a scary book. Yeah.
Dude, you're going to have to keep that out of the prisons, the women and children's hands, but whatever, we'll do it.
But what I want to do, because I'm even interested, because as we scale up the Airbnb business, I want to take my person that runs my day-to-day and move some of the operation over to the VAs. So let's talk about, from somebody that doesn't know what the word VA means, just give me a basic breakdown of what this human's doing for you.
I'm glad you said human, because it is a human, man. It's a person that I think a lot of people, it's sort of cringeworthy when it's like, man, they're taking pride in calling this human a slave. That's their, I guess you have the right to do whatever you want, but okay, it's a person. They are virtual, which now we're all virtual. So it's kind of funny. Some of the people that help now for my podcast stuff and even my day-to-day stuff, they're virtual, but they're in Florida or they're in Texas. They're not in the Philippines. Like my cold callers are in the Philippines, but the other people aren't. So a virtual assistant is just an employee that is looking for contracted labor that you can find through servicing sites like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, a couple others. And they can help you with tasks that you either don't like doing, you don't want to do. You can pay them on a task or a project basis. You can pay them on an hourly basis. And they can do work for you that probably wouldn't get done if it was up to you to do it. So they can be anywhere, and you find these people. If you have work that you want to do, they can do.
But that's not the greatest thing, because I saw your post 2 days ago, right when you were going to bed. So explain, explain that, because that was like that opened it like blew my head backwards. So
cool concept, and it's just. Like, again, I wasn't using virtual assistants a lot until this past year when I read a book that is my favorite book for 2020. It's called Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt.
Okay.
But basically what I posted that other night in this Facebook group that I run is I was going to bed. It was like midnight. Okay. And I had just given instructions with a tool called Loom. I want to break this down real simple. Loom is just a screen recording software. It's if you were doing anything on your screen, you could just send it to them and they could see. It's very easy. It's like a clean way to do it. They like it that way too. So anyway, I was going to bed And this person's in the Philippines, different time zone, different part of the world, gave them instructions. And it just kind of hit me. Sometimes, I have these moments where it's like, wow, that actually is cool. We take it for granted, all these little things and tools. This person was about to do 8 hours of work while I was literally shutting my phone and computer and everything to go to bed. And you could wake up, this work is being done while you sleep, and you wake up and you have this entire project done, 8 hours of whatever you needed help with. And it just, how powerful is that? Like I heard Grant Cardone say this, and it really stuck with me too, with working with leverage, that, you hear the expression, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, we all have 24 hours in a day. If you use leverage, you have infinity time. You don't have 24 hours. You have every human being that can help you hours in the day. So that was what it was. They were helping me with a data scrape project and putting together this deck. And I woke up and it was done. And I wouldn't have probably done it on my own anyway, because I hate doing that stuff.
No, me too. And I'm never going to touch that stuff. But something that's very interesting, what I've had my team do moving forward, and this will never change. This is not an option if you work for me. When you do a task, you record what you're doing and you put it in a folder. So when we bring on a new team member or a VA that we're hiring, we don't have to spend 1 second ourselves, human time, training them. They can have all the stuff. So no matter if they're in the Philippines or here, it's a no-brainer. And because the service that is really the currency in this world moving forward is data and video training. Like that's really the currency that exists.
Fact. Couldn't agree with that.
And I don't know how I'm this smart, because I don't think of this stuff, but I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch that video. And what's great is my assistant, I hope he's not listening, he sends me stuff all the time. I've never looked at any of it. I'm just like, he's good. I know what he does. He loves spreadsheets and scheduling. So like, and he's like, do you look at, yeah, I look at this stuff. No, because he hasn't given me a reason to not. Like I double check stuff all the time, but but it's there if I need it, right? If we bring on somebody new. And I think that's what's important. And organization is key.
Totally, man. And guys, there's a lot more here. If you guys are wondering how to get started with VAs, I could go deeper, but if you have any questions about areas you're getting tripped up, just shoot me an email. My email is jonfarber@outlook.com. I'm happy to dig into this with anyone. I struggled with it for a long time. That goes for anything we talk about today, guys. Hit me up.
What we're going to do is in a couple of weeks, we'll do a Facebook Live and we'll just talk about VAs.
Dude, done. I'm doing one in my group. Literally the title is every tool I use for working virtual assistants. Because I used to get stuck. I'm like, how do I give them my financial information? How do I give them my passwords? Should I be worried about this? These would be my limiting beliefs, my excuses to not change my life. But now I'm like, I'm happier. I don't do crap that I hate, and it gets done. So outcome versus risk. And now
let me paint the picture for you, because I'll tell you exactly. You'll feel this, brush, bro. You'll feel this. When I realized that the number one most powerful tool in people is self-awareness. It is the tool that will set you free.
You've been listening to Gary Vee.
No, I don't.
No? Okay, that's what he preaches.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is the moment that I stopped lying to myself, that I gave a shit about emails and spreadsheets, and I turned that over, I felt like an eagle with no shirt on flying through the sun. Dude, you know what we call it?
I got this image in my head.
You know what I just made that up. You know what we call it? You know what we call it? If you know the military, right? The halo jumpers, the people that are so high that they have to wear an oxygen mask because they fly in. Okay. And they're going so fast they can't be caught up in radar. Okay. So I'm a halo networker. So they send me in a room full of 1,000 people. You know how many my assistant and my business partner, you know how much they want to network? Zero. So I read the book Rocket Fuel and it blew my mind. And I was like, oh, if I just focus on my task, then I can operate in the highest form of myself. And they can, because here's what my assistant said. He goes, I don't really like to network with people. I said, well, you don't have to. I'm the number one. I got it. And he goes, oh my God, I don't have to spend 2 years trying to learn how to be nice to people. And I'm like, no, you can just work. And he's like, oh my God, I feel great. Let's go to work. And when you give him that gift, right? That was that aha moment for him, right?
It's harder because it's like, it's one of those things that I used to actually be, you read the compound effect and you're just like, no, just like work harder, outgrid it. Now this approach I think is a little smarter. I still love the compound effect because it's just momentum and building on little steps. But this is more just what's your core competency? what do you like doing? What are you good at doing? What are those things that also make you money? How can you serve others? And I needed to get my head around it, that some people, they'd like doing certain things. They're good at doing certain things. It's just, we can't see it because it's in their head. It's not like me telling you to dunk a basketball and you're not 6'8". Like that I could see. Maybe you can dunk. I don't know. But anyway, it's like, these are all things, we all have skill sets. It's just not apparent because someone can't see it. But also I feel like people fudge it a little. They're like, I'm this great this, or I'm not good at this. And it's hard to confuse, I think, laziness with not your core skill set. And then there's also the other part of it that people are like, well, maybe you can get good at that. But there's some things that I think we would both agree they're not worth getting good at. We don't want to get good at them. And it's just, we have a higher and best use, and it's not that.
I have a great friend. He said on it, I interviewed him, Casey Gray, on the podcast. He's a builder in Canada. He said, why would I spend time strengthening my weaknesses? Doesn't make any sense. But more importantly, you know what I do? Anybody that works for me, any coaching clients, I make them take a personality test.
Yeah.
So I know exactly how to get the most out of that person and how I can communicate with them. Because I'll tell you this right now, the number one issue in relationships with family, spouses, work, boss, employees is we as humans do not communicate properly. And when your team doesn't understand the concept you're trying to get across, you as a leader have failed them in communicating the idea properly. It's plain and simple.
That could be a whole episode in itself, man. That's
and vivid vision. When I read that book, I paint a picture better than anybody because I'm selling the whole thing. They're buying in with me here, knowing that in a year I'm gonna reward them because I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to see them succeed, and because that's my focus, I'm not worried about little things that would trip up a normal person, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing when you single family invest and multifamily invest. You know, you're saying, well, I know, but just buy the 100 unit, right? Lock in management, and then you can move on to the other 100 unit. And then when you buy the 100 unit, you're like, that wasn't that hard. Like, you know, I think that's the evolution of investing and thinking bigger, right?
Totally. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So I want to talk about this interesting thing, your Facebook group. I saw another post from you about how all of a sudden this Facebook group has taken off when it was just flatlined for many months. And so why don't you talk about that? And you also had a great post about how not to add value to a Facebook group that I thought was great.
I don't need to tell you.
Talk on that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It kind of goes back to the first thing, like starting the podcast, and I give all the credit to Joe Fairless, and I don't know where he got it from, if he came up with it. I think he honestly devised a lot of this stuff with his coach Trevor McGregor, who's also awesome.
Who's by the way is one of the smartest humans. When he talks, I'm like, geez.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah,
he's a beast. So I think they brainstormed on it, but basically what, for a couple reasons, I think being at the middle of community is good if you have a message, if you like doing that. For me, it was also good for a couple reasons, just for some control of the group and the messaging for some other projects that I work on and that I don't necessarily need to convolute. So yeah, man, I mean, first, I just think it's a great way to organize people, get different people together, almost like in the world of COVID, have it like what used to be old school RIA meetups, real estate investing group meetups, where meet bi-weekly or monthly, whatever, have a speaker. But yeah, man, this is one that just on a regular basis, trying to put out content, stuff that's helped me or stuff that I've had from other guests or stuff that we're doing now, just like webinars. And you know what I think about with it, man, is I have no sell in it. There's no, my favorite in all this, he's not real estate related, is Gary Vee. He's my favorite influence. He gives all his stuff out for free. And the people that are going to use it. And then 99% of people will never do anything with it anyway. But at least it's not salesy and pitchy. So I want to just be value add. Another great expression that I think about with all this is dig the well before you're thirsty. Okay. The worst place to be is in sales is desperation. If you need that sale, if you need that job, if you need that thing from someone, dude, you tell me you want to, like, how good it feels when you reach out to someone they haven't talked to in 2 years and say, can you pick me up from the airport? Not good. So like, I want continuous value add. So the day that I may have something, or if I don't, fine, but at least it gives me a lot of satisfaction back. But just regular value add, we do giveaways and we do stuff to get people started. I put all my tools in there. I do trainings on VAs and stuff. Um, maybe it'll lead to a smaller group mastermind, but yeah, it's just been like 8 months, got like over 1,300 members, and just an awesome community. So, I mean, no pitch. If you don't want to be in another Facebook group, I don't blame you. I don't even accept half the ones I'm invited to. So zero pressure. If you want to connect with other real estate investors that are millennials or just doing cool stuff, check it out, leave, stay, whatever. I'm not pushy. That's why I think I'm good at sales. But anyway, that's just the scoop. I love it. And it's great to connect with people. And the first 1,000 members, I sent a selfie video introduction to, because I wanted to feel community, man. I wanted to try to scale something unscalable, to feel like these people knew me, they could come to me, and I'd be there to help them. And still, one day of the week, I do 14 networking calls with people from that group. Every Friday or Saturday, I'll just do 8 and 8 or 14, whatever it is, and or 7 and 7, and just knock it out, man. And like, be a service to people. I feel like another person I love, highly recommend any of your listeners check out, Craig Curlop. We had a great chat. Probably, I don't know if you had him on. If not, you should. He's awesome. I'll tee it up. But he's like, dude, it's about like helping people in a way. If you're not trying to help people with what you've learned, you're selfish. And I was like, whoa, well, like that's crazy. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But like,
it is. It is. It's so crazy to me, because the only time I get screwed in my mindset these days, well, we don't talk about those other days, but the only time I get screwed up now is when I'm worried about what I'm going to get out of it or what I deserve. When I'm leading with service, which is 99% of the time for me, the compound effect that it has on the universe is insane. I mean, just insane. But here, I got a deep question for you, because this is what I keep running into. And then, how do you get somebody to take joy and feel like they crushed a day when a lot of the tasks that you're doing in the long game is not quantifiable? Meaning the call with the broker that's not going to lead to a deal for 8 months, the reaching out and helping those people. You might not get anything from it, or you might not have a deal that's in place for a year. A lot of my coaching clients, they're like, well, yeah, I had a great day, but there was nothing on my to-do list like that you can point at and go, it wasn't like I mowed the grass, like it's not quantifiable. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So maybe I'll take a stab at it.
Sure.
I'll go short, and you tell me if I'm on base or not. Motivation's such a tricky thing, man. Like, one of my favorites is Jim Rohn. The guy, he's dead, but his content's just incredible. Great book, great YouTube stuff. And he talks about motivation as being one of like the mysteries of the world. You hear something from a speaker and you're fired up and you're about to go take the action. Other people hear it and say, I already knew that. I thought he was going to teach me something new. So things affect us different ways, man. I mean, I was just listening to some Tony Robbins stuff, man. And it's hard to get excited about any activity without thinking of either the outcome or the why or the purpose, man. And they could be connected. They could be the same thing. Outcome could be more or less objective based. Like, I want to get this house. Your why could be because your dad told you sucked and you were never going to be anything. Whatever you need, whatever fuel you have. Then, I mean, as far as tracking it, it's leads and lag measures, man. Like, it's you getting excited about tracking the things that you can control that aren't outcome based is the whole game. Getting excited about the I don't even know if Jerry Seinfeld made it up. I heard that he actually didn't, of checking an X through every day on the calendar, and you see it, something visual. And like, for people that are asking me how to get started in real estate, I say these are the two things. Analyze a deal a day, make one offer a week. You will get a deal done. And if it sucks and you keep doing that, you'll learn. And if not, then you definitely didn't do something that was like part of the process. So like, it's not outcome based, man. Like, it's, I think, one of those things that you either can learn to embrace the process, man, and really believe the obstacle is the way, And it's not like I'll be happy when I get this deal. It's I'm happy with what I'm doing and I like what I'm doing and I'm doing with cool people and just embracing the suck, man. David Goggins, like you got to lean in. It's just not going to be you get your deal on your first day. Like this is, I know, a little airy fairy, a little motivational, but like it's true, man. And it becomes more fun. And I guess the only other thing that I would say with it is you build momentum. You know, the more you do it, the more you acknowledge your wins. Something that's actually helped me. Okay, this actually might be tangible because I'm in the sky right now. Keeping a win board, man. Something I as high achievers, man. I mean, I'm not saying one. You might be one. I mean, I'd love to be one. But you know, it's like we always focus on the areas of improvement, the losses, what sucked, what didn't go well. Dude, I went like 2 months in a row. I'm like, I feel like I haven't moved the needle at all. And then I went back to my coach and my mastermind. They're like, well, we've been tracking this. You did this, this, and this, and like you're doing everything that we wanted. I was like, man, it doesn't feel like that. So something that's really helped me, I got it on my board here. Every week, small or big, I just write down wins. If it was my big rock for the day, a little to do, whatever, anything. So at the end of the week, and I have a horrible memory too, so I don't remember any of the good stuff anyway. I always focus on the bad. But anyway, at the end of the week, I'm like, did I even do anything this week? And I could look at this and be like, all right, you kind of killed it. Or like you did some stuff, you know? And that is what keeps me going and focused and thinking about it. And then I also got a motivation board that I'm like, I got probably 40% of people that pissed me off and I need motivation. They told me I sucked. I was never going to do anything. You know, why are you doing this? You're crazy. Emails that pissed me off, people telling me what to do. And then I got the good stuff on one side of it. That's like, all right, financial freedom, retiring your family, playing golf every day, doing deals with awesome people, the stuff that pulls me. I got pull and push. So I recommend everybody out there right now, put together a motivation board. It's cheesy. It's going to take time. Very few people are going to do it. But the days that you're like, man, this sucks, or like, I don't want to do it today, maybe you need some hate in your head thinking about the person that said you sucked. Or maybe you got to think about the fun thing, whatever it is, if that's on you. But visual, man, we're visual people. I'd say put it together, look at it, and let it drive you. And then if not, then you don't want it. So, you know, just invest with Austin and he'll make you some money on your money. And, you know, you can just, you know, go back to watching Netflix.
Did you just slayed that? But I got two. I got to hit it. I watched a video yesterday. Rich Roll said, okay, what do you tell people that their life's being ripped apart? Their shit sucks. Everything's falling apart. You know what he said? Say congratulations. Because you're just about to level up. And I was like, but here's what I do. Because I call this part of myself Little Bitch Austin. And Little Bitch Austin gets in there every now and then, and he fucks my shit clean up. And I send this text to my business partner. I say, I need the text. That's all I send. And all he sends back is, nobody cares. Fucking work harder, you bitch. And that's all I need. And it's that, it just, boom. Because we are people of triggers. Things trigger us. People trigger us. So life hack yourself. You're doing that. You don't remember shit. I put the wins up on there. I look out. Oh my God, look at me. I conquered. We put these goals in front of us, right? These massive goals. If we don't celebrate the weekly wins, you're going to feel this trough of just despair and you're not going to get anywhere. And so what I want to do is transition to what is about to be my favorite topic, because this is the last conversation that me and you had. So holy shit, Jonathan is coaching people now. And I know you have a lot of imposter syndrome wrapped around that, but something clicked for you and you're like, look, it's just me. I've done some real estate deals. How many units do you have currently?
8
units. And so there's a lot coming in there saying, I'm not good enough. I can't do that, but you're loving it. Right. And you're finding joy in it and people are getting value from it. So why don't you talk about that and talk about how you kind of reposition your perspective on, like being, because that's the same conversation I have with everybody. A new agent or somebody that hasn't done a deal. I have nothing to give to anybody. I have no value. Well, BS. There's value in the journey at every step, Dude,
you do one deal, you should write a blog about it. And you could help people that, well, let me take it back, man. Just even the furthest step back, whatever makes you happy. If you are happy as a clam right now and you watch Netflix every day and, you just chill and you're good, amazing. Like you've already won for you. For the other people that are thinking, all right, I want to level up or I want to become something or do bigger, then maybe this advice is more for you. But the whole game is self-awareness, as you said, to figure out what makes you happy. So I never really thought about it, but I definitely get some level of satisfaction at helping others, seeing other people do well. And for a while, just like free, like if I can help and shed advice from a call or whatever, it gives me a sense of fulfillment and purpose. That money is great to have, but money doesn't fill that exact gap. Money's great because you can do stuff, but like I used to want to be the zillionaire and whatever, but now I'm like, why? Like I want rounded out parts of my life. I don't want to be happy and like actually think about now that I am financially free. I'm like, what actually makes me happy? Like, how do you fill these gaps? So as far as like that like coaching and helping people, man, like first off, it just came from giving as much value as I felt I possibly could. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing deals right now, and let's say you want to add coaching or masterminding as a stream of income, like it's that well concept, man. I would say just put out tons of value on a regular basis. And for me, I said this wrong the other day, but I look at it like the frog in boiling water, man. You throw the frog in boiling water, jumps right back out. You put him in, you boil it. He'll simmer, like 20 minutes later when he didn't even feel he was getting torched. That's how it is for content creation, all this stuff for me, man. Like step, like day at a time to feel like I'm growing and developing. And then, you look back 20 steps and you're like, how'd I get out here? But it's just the little steps day after day. So for me, it was value. And then getting into coaching, I felt like I was doing a good enough job with value add that people came to me. People just asked me if I could be their coach or be in a mastermind, which is how I started it. And still that's how it'll be. I'm not doing one-on-one stuff, but for just like small group masterminds. And I also look at it like it's the cycle of life, man. I'm in masterminds. I have mentors. I have coaches. I want to mentor other people. Okay. So like I got help. I want to give help. And that's how I think you can put my head down on the pillow at night and feel good about it, that I'm getting help. I'm giving help. It's a cycle. A lot of those people, when I reach out to the first 150 on Bigger Pockets, they got back to me. I think back to one of my first conversations was with Brian Burke. The guy had he had 5,000 units. I was 21 years old. I'm asking him all sorts of dumb questions, and he couldn't have been more patient. Couldn't have been nicer. Couldn't have told me step by step what he would do if he was 21 again. I was like, oh, man, okay. So it's just, I think, imposter syndrome. We all fight it, but baby steps. You help one person, you realize how good it feels, and then you put out a little bit of content and you help another person. And dude, if you know it and you could help one person, man, it feels good to help people. Like if you could save someone money or get someone in the game, maybe change their life, and they tell you or send you that text or email like, dude, I got my first deal under contract and I have you to thank for it. And again, like they could have done it without me. They definitely could have. I'm not like playing God here, but if I had played any part in it, it's awesome. And it gives that extra sense of gratification. So yeah, man, it's organic, but it's definitely a cool thing. And you're ahead of me on it. So, I'll be picking your brain on it, but it's all good.
I heard a quote. It said at every point in your life, you need to have a mentor and be mentoring somebody. Like that's the key to life, right? But I'm going to share a story. Two stories with you real quick. This guy called me today. I do Airbnb coaching for people that are getting in, or I can walk them through a property. I can design it for them, the whole thing. He messages me and he says, I said, this is how much it's going to cost, blah, blah, blah. He goes, look, dude, I'm so new to the game. I don't know shit. Like my questions are so dumb. I don't want to waste my money on that time. And I said, I got 10 minutes. How about we just jump on a call and I'll give you free answer your questions right away. He goes, why? I go, because I just want to. So we jumped on, we get to talking. I give him a book, a website to use. And he goes, all right, I'm going to go read the book and I'll come back to you and pay for the thing when I have more questions that matter. And I might never get anything from that. It has nothing to do with that. But I thought it was so poignant to do that. But I shared that story to share this story. And this is when it hit me. Everybody knows I was an alcoholic. It's not a fucking story. I've told it a million times on the podcast. But when I was sober for like a year, I used to have a tendency to poke. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you're not listening to my advice. This is how I fix my life. You know, ugh.
Yep.
And I don't give unsolicited advice anymore. It doesn't exist in my world. But I had 2 people in the same week text me and say, I have not talked to you about this, but I just wanted you to know that because you're sober and I saw that you could do it, I'm sober. And I sat back in my chair and I go, hold on, hold up. So me living my best version of myself was leading by example. And somebody felt the strength of doing that could change. And that's when I shifted my whole mindset. Is I'm going to be the best version of myself. That's the only way I'm getting my client to do that too, regardless of mom, sister, brother, kids. If you're the best version of yourself, leading by example, then it permeates in every part of your life.
Fact.
And that's all you can do. And it was the moment that changed my life. I remember where I was. I was in Nashville at a Jake and Gino event. And my podcast producer texts me that, and he goes, verbatim, said, if your crazy ass can quit alcohol, I know I can. And I was like, damn straight. And I was like, but dude, that's what it's. And then here's what the deal. And I got a text message yesterday. She sent me a thing. She goes, I've never DM'd somebody ever in my life. I'm learning Instagram. I heard you on STR Secrets podcast, and then I listened to yours. Holy crap, your shit's fire. You keep burning bright. And I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good for the day. Like, you don't know, right? But my philosophy is if we can help one person from this call, or one piece of content that you put out in your private Facebook group allows somebody to retire 5 years earlier, that's what it's all about. But we in America, we've somehow made it about Lambos and ridiculous shit.
Dude, well, on that note, the question I think about with this all the time, I'm going to do a bigger post around it, but as I got close to it, and then, well, on the first level, achieved financial freedom, I was just obsessed with the question of what would you do if money didn't matter? Like, that's the question. Like,
yes.
Like, and I know the easy answer is like, I'd play in the NBA or, whatever, PGA Tour, but like, okay, like if you could do that, awesome. Like, let's shoot it straight to some extent here. Like, if you've never played golf before, I don't know if you're playing the PGA Tour, in a couple of years, maybe, who knows? But what would you do? I think we all need some level of fulfillment, like in our work, in our helping of others, whatever it is. If it's making money, if it's business, awesome. But like, what would you do if money didn't matter? Like, how would you wake up every day? How would you fill a 16-hour day? What would you do? And it's different for everyone, but I'd say just like there's maybe something. And now we're getting kind of, in the
good. This is my podcast. I do whatever I want. So yeah,
dude, love it. But it's just like, I would say, people that experience helping others realize there's a big satisfaction in that, and you feel like you're making a little impact on this planet.
I know, but to get even farther in the clouds, I'll tell you why. And you're going to love this. You of all people.
Buckling up.
You know why? Because you've told the universe that you live your world in abundance. And when you live your world in abundance and not scarcity, the options cornucopia is available to all things.
Yeah.
That's why.
Love that.
And but I lived in scarcity and victim mentality for 20 years. And that's why I'm so damn happy. I had lunch with Bruce Peterson yesterday. He said, I don't care if somebody ran my car and totaled it. When I see somebody, they go, how you doing? I go, I'm doing fantastic, man. And he goes, it just takes people back because they're like, this guy is so damn happy. And it's like, but I am, because, dude, I almost love the climb more than I do the top of the mountain. I've always been that way. And I'm a builder, totally. I'm a builder, and I truly look, my why is 2 things. I would love to make 10 millionaires, and I want to lift up everybody that enters my world. That's my 2 whys. So if my focus is I want to make 10 millionaires, then the onus and pressure is off me. It's nurturing people around me to show them the highest version of themselves and then elevate them into a platform to make that happen. But I'm going to share something with you, and you can steal it. When anytime I hire somebody or they're coming to work for me, they go, thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't want to let you down. And I simply send this text back. There's no chance that you could let me down because I didn't give you this opportunity. You created it. So all you can do every day is continue to build on that opportunity to allow yourself to still be, have the worth for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't have expectations.
Spot on. It's good.
And it's because because the only time that we screw ourselves up is when we have expectations. I'm the king. I am the king. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I build up this story, and then I get annihilated with a Mike Tyson right hook.
Dude, there could be a whole other, couldn't agree with that more, man. Expectations are, man, what a trade-off. But yeah, 100%.
Because the universe gives you what it wants the way that it wants. And it's never gift wrapped the way that you think it's going to gift. It's going to rock you right in the, there should be a separate video of rock bottoms of how many I've had. You would think that I would wake up eventually, but for the first time in my life, meaning the purpose that I wake up every day is not me. So then it's an infinite sum game. Get what I'm saying? John's like freaking out over here. He's like,
who?
No, Jonathan, you're like, what if this guy's alpha in La La Land? Yeah,
dude, I get it.
Yeah, because you can't touch me, because it's not about me. So if it's not about me, then it's an infinite sum game. I have all the energy in the world because I'm not worried. So we're just like you said, it's the infinite push and pull. And I'm still competitive as shit, but it's got to make sense for my lifestyle. And I think that's what. To wrap all the conversation up, you have found things in your life, right, that work for your mind, but you've also leveraged out your time a lot. And so that's how you can do all these things and still look like you can put on a shirt and not be a wild man, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, but another concept I think about a lot is, I don't think you have to worry about burnout if you're really doing something you like. Mm-hmm. Like you could get burned out in 5 minutes if you hate what you're doing. I mean, we don't need to get graphic on the podcast, but something you love doing, something that it could be anything. You could do it all the time. You can do it all day, but it's something that it's like the last thing you want to do, man. The burnout is the quickest.
No, if you ask me to file my taxes, it would take 2.5 years all day long. I literally I have no patience for it. But I want to be respectful of your time. I'm sure you have 9 other podcasts to go on. So how do people find out about you? We're going to do a Facebook Live soon, so we'll talk about the VA stuff, guys. But how do people find out about you, and how do they find the mastermind and all that stuff?
Main way, shoot me an email if you want to ever talk, is just jonjfarber@outlook.com. And then Instagram, JONJFARB, and Facebook, Jonathan Farber. And then the Facebook group is always a good way. But happy to connect with anyone. If we can get on the calendar, I'm happy to help in any way I can. No charge, nothing. Just if you have any questions on VAs, real estate, time management, whatever. Or if you want to tell me I sucked on this podcast, feel free to do that too. I'm always open to constructive criticism.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
No. Anyway, I love connecting with new people. So, those are the best ways.
No, man, we could go for like 4 hours. I thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. So guys, the best thing you can do is share this with your friends, send it out. That's all I ask for, is you just send it around so we can uplift everybody around us. And thank you so much, my brother.
Dude, thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, check out Austin's content on all platforms. I'm serious. I've been following it for like 5 months, and he's just flooding the feed, man. So it's good stuff too.
Dude, I tell the team, if you can wake up every day and know that Gary Vee's playing small, you got to get your shit together.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
All right, that's a loaded bomb. I saved that one for the end because I know how much you love him. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.